Good evening, everybody. The persons who are joining me on YouTube, sorry for my tardiness. I took longer to get home than I anticipated. Nonetheless, we are revising English A tonight. Tell a friend, send this link to a friend so they can join in and get a head start on their CXC English A preparation. We will begin momentarily. I've shared the link to the Zoom session on the YouTube chat. So for the persons desirous of joining from that YouTube chat, you can join by that link I've sent there. All right, so we are ready to roll. Tonight we're going to look at the paper 2 exam, and what we're going to do is generally have an overview of what the exam would entail, and after which we will try to do an entire paper 1, past paper 1 question. if we're doing an actual paper one, it means the live may have to be deleted afterwards, right? Because of course it is technically illegal to have CXC paper ones, right? So to make sure we don't get into any trouble, we are going to delete the live soon after. So I hope you can be able to log in and get the full benefit of the session while it happens. All right. We're gonna start in 5 minutes. We are giving the others a chance to still join us and to get it from the go. For the persons joining us on YouTube, I have shared a link in the group there, in the chat there to join in. All I'm asking you as you do so is just rename yourself as your first and last name when you join. All right, good night, everybody. Let's begin. We're gonna do a revision tonight of the entire syllabus of the English A syllabus. In doing the revision, we are going to talk about a few things that might be important to you for every aspect of the exam, from section 1 to the last section, section 4. Right? So let me show you. Can anybody tell me what date is the exam? What date is the exam?
Good night, sir. I think it's the 10th of May. I
10th.
believe it's the 10th of May. Yes.
We'll go with that. So if it's the 10th of May, it means you are less than a month away. All right. So how is your preparation going for that? How is the task of preparing for the English A exam? Nervous, not so nervous. The person on my YouTube channel, the students I have on the call are actually some adult students who are writing English either for the first time or a second time. And there are some students who I anticipate to do very, very well in the upcoming exams. So yeah, let me hear how your preparations for the exam. You can be totally honest. Anybody?
It has been a little bit challenging for me, but I will definitely get myself fully ready. Challenging in terms of time and other things getting in the way, but when it
Yeah.
comes to sitting and putting pen to paper, I feel that I am almost there, and I will fully be there before the 10th of May.
Yeah, thanks. So the truth is, many of us get caught up with life and the idea of having to sit an exam while life doesn't stop at all. You have to learn to cope with the preparation by itself and still manage to juggle the things that you have to do in your everyday life. So, and that's one of the luxuries I think the school students, the young people have, that they have absolutely no care in the world. All they have to do is turn up to school, write an exam, and yeah, and but sometimes I guess they get distracted along the way, and that can pose to be some problems. All right, but there are going to be challenges always, and we have to just be able to take the good with the bad and keep taking over. Anybody else wishes to share how their preparation might be going currently? Who is iPhone? Somebody's name is iPhone. Who's this?
Thermosai.
Oh, okay, hi.
Yeah.
All right. Uh, right. So let's. Anybody else want to share? How was the preparation? Is it easy for anyone? Anybody anticipating the exam? Evening, I've been watching you since 2012. I'm now in college. Okay, so there's somebody on YouTube there saying they've been watching me since in 2012 and now they're in college. Yeah, I'm happy that I could have helped you get to college. Congratulations there. And you can tell me what you're studying in college, huh? Congratulations, though. Seven Deadly Sins. Hi, hi. So we have some persons looking at us on YouTube as well. You can always join the live if you so wish. You have the link there. I've shared it earlier on the chat there. You can join in and take part. Right. Good. So let's go back to our revision. So the English A exam is quite simple. I do believe it's simple. The only problem that students often have is that they fail to prepare for the exam. And there's an old popular saying and an adage that says if you fail to prepare, then you do what?
Prepare to fail.
Yeah, you're prepared to fail. So it's about strategy. Everything in life is about strategy. You have to figure out quite early a strategy that works for you. That strategy might not be the same that works for your friend, but you have to figure out early a strategy and be able to stick to that strategy and get over that line. So you might have several things to do. You might have your siblings to take care of. You might have children to take care of. You might have a job. You might have parents that might not be very supportive. It matters not what your situation is. We all have situations we have to deal with. You still have to work out a strategy on how to get over this line. The situation is that you have to go to an English A exam. You've been speaking English, you've been speaking the language all of your life. And now you are put to write a test to test your English. And by no means have you not been able to speak English in your life. So there should be no problem in speaking English in this exam. So there should be no reason why anybody fails an English exam. For Christ's sake, you've been doing that same thing all of your life. All right, Maria, welcome. Where are you from?
Hi, sir. I'm from the lesser.
Okay, good. Right. So let's talk about the sections of the exam. So the English A exam is about 2 hours and about 40 minutes or thereabout. Right. So this exam has 4 sections. They're gonna give you a text that you have to write a summary of that text. So usually that text is about a page and about 5 lines. So it's a page and a little bit, right? And you have to convert that page and little bit to no more than 120 words. That's in the section A. So the first part of the exam, the first thing you open in the paper and you will see is a summary, right? And that's 25 marks. The section B of the exam is the part that's actually worth the most marks. So that's 30 marks in that section B. And a few things can come in that section B. So this is the part that CXC is going to basically hold as a surprise. They can bring in this piece, in this section here, a letter, email, report, memo, minutes. Those are all the things that can come. There's another one, but we don't want to talk about that. The popular ones that they have used over the past year or a few years or so would be the letter, the email, and the report. Letter, email, and report. Right? If I were to hazard a guess as to which one might come, more than likely it might be between these two here, right? Letter or email. But of course, I am not CXC spokesperson, so I don't know. For all we know, they might just drop a report in you. Or they can also bring a notice, right? So a notice can also come. So report, email, letter, notice, and then these two here are not the very common popular ones that might appear in an exam. So with that said, that is your two sections, section A and section B. Can anybody remind me how many marks would section B be going for?
I think it's 30.
Yeah,
Mr.
30.
Mark?
So 30 marks for that section B of the exam. All right. And so that everything else is 25. So the argument 25, the short story 25, the summary 25, and this section here is 30 marks. But section B, though it's 30 marks, is actually the easiest part. It should be the easiest part in the exam. And the reason for that is that the section B is what you call expository writing. They will give you everything that you need, and you just have to put that information that they give you in a suitable format that answers the question in this exam. Is that clear? You think you guys what I'm saying there?
Yes, sir.
So it's pretty much all about writing back the information that they give you in an appropriate format. And once your format, and they will actually give you lots of marks for the format. So of that 25, a lot of it actually will be for format. Then the language itself will be assessed. Then organization and expression will also be assessed. All right. So that is section B. The good thing about this YouTube channel, my YouTube channel is actually my name. And let me just type that in at the bottom there. And almost all of you should already know about that. My YouTube channel actually has content on all aspects of the English A exam. All aspects of the English A exam, you can have a YouTube video there to help you. There are about 3 videos on summary writing, a 5-minute one, a 30-minute one, and one between the two. And then there's a video on letter and email writing. There's a video on report and notice writing. I don't have anything on memo, and yeah, I do have something on memo, but the minutes I haven't touched on that because it's rarely that CXC would bring minutes. There's a video on short story writing. There's even a sample short story there for you. There's a video on argumentative writing as well, with also a sample for you there. So many things you can have right on the YouTube channel. I don't think many students actually make use of until the night before the exam. So if you're having difficulty, and trust me, I sound as though, yeah, this exam is supposed to be easy, but it might not be for some of you. Some of you have been trying to pass English for a while. Some of you might have been trying to pass English after failing over and over. Some of you might not have the courage to actually go sit the exam, right? And that's quite okay, right? But you have to change your strategy. Your strategy is whatever you have been doing in the past can be the same thing you're gonna do now, right? And why I'm telling you that, if you go to the YouTube videos I have on each of this section here, you can actually sit down and pace your own self with your preparation. It matters not if your teacher is super supportive. It doesn't matter if you don't have a teacher. All you need to do is sit down on the YouTube channel, if you so wish to put it on your smart TV or your flat screen or your big TV in your house, and just sit down and listen to it. Whatever you choose to do, just make it work, right? But I know the content I have there, and I've been doing this for a number of years. This is actually my last year doing this. I've branched off to actually practice medicine. So I'm no longer actively teaching. At least after this year, I'm no longer going to be teaching. But the content is still going to be on YouTube, and the content will still be free on YouTube that you can have access to, right? Don't be like those students from all across the Caribbean that I see comment year after year, exam in a few hours, and I'm now seeing this video. I feel so sorry for them sometimes. They try to binge watch the videos just before the exams. You have just under a month in your preparation, and you can make it work. You can make it work, right? So let's take a break here for you to tell me which part of the exam is the hardest one for you. Of these things I've identified here, who wishes to be honest and say which part of the exam might be the hardest for you? Nobody wants to be honest?
Just my
So our
input.
section D,
The
argument.
argument. Okay. What about you, Miss Aaron?
Yes, I would say it's a challenge for me for section D. And for me, I am still nervous where section A is concerned because I don't know what the topic might be. I know sometimes looking at section A, it's such a broad topic. They bring what's happening around the world, and then I get nervous every time with section A. So that one is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
challenge for
yeah.
me.
Right. So section A is actually the part that many Caribbean students mess up in. Is the part that many of them don't get. And the reason why they don't get it, I'm not insulting Caribbean students by any means. We Caribbean people, we story long. We like to talk and we don't know when to stop talking. And we find ourselves saying the same thing over and over in different words, right? So that's a challenge for the summary. Students repeat themselves quite often, and because they repeat themselves so often, they end up having a situation where they have not addressed the main point or identified that main point. All they have done is repeat one idea over and over and over again. And when they do that, it's not adding to what you're writing at all. So we're gonna talk about, you guys are gonna pick two of these here that you want us to look at tonight. And in the subsequent classes, we're gonna do another two. All right, so we're gonna revise one of two of any of these topics here as listed and actively here on this live. And then in the next time we meet, we're going to revise another two. So before the exam on the 10th, you should have covered at least everything here in a live session. This is in addition to what I have on the YouTube channel already. Does that sound like a plan?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good. So let's go. You will tell me what you want to do in just a bit. So let's talk about the short story. The short story is the one where the student gets a chance to show off their writing, show off their skills. But most importantly, you have to be able to tell a story. right? And that's one thing Caribbean people can do very well. We can tell a good story. Sometimes the story is not true at all, but we can tell a story. So when we're going to talk about story writing, what should be some of the things that our story should involve? The main thing that a story must involve. When I say involve, I mean it must include. For it to be called a story, for you to get marks for a story, what should this story have?
A plot.
A plot, okay? Anything else? What does that plot involve? Right, so what is the problem? There must be a problem. Is the problem an actual problem, a situation where somebody is chasing you, somebody is about to rob your house, somebody is in an accident? What is the problem? There must be a problem. And your story must be on the course of resolving whatever that problem is. The problem or the conflict can also be within, right? So you might be sitting to write an exam or a few exams, and you have these negative thoughts where you feel as though you're not good enough. You feel as though you're going to fail these exams. And then you persisted, you try, you do little by little by little, you pray, you encourage yourself, and then eventually you get over the line. That problem, that self-doubt has already been resolved. So once your problem that you have identified in this story is resolved, then you have done the job of telling a story, right? You think you got me what I'm saying there? Let me check the YouTube to see if there's any questions.
Yes, sir.
Good. So yes, in telling the story, you will have characters, and there might be major characters and minor characters, but please don't make the story be a whole discussion where the whole village there. It can't be the whole town or the whole city. Your story should have 2 to 3 main persons, nothing more. There can be mentions of other persons, but the whole village can't be in the story. So where is the story taking place? What is this setting? What, when, where, how, what is going on in this story? Where is it poised, right? Those are little things that can add word count. You know, this story should be around 450 words. And that's a lot of words, right? And how do you get up there? How do you get up there? You get up there by adding a little blend of description, having your characters speak, and your storytelling by describing your plot, describing your setting, etc. It's not a lot of work, but you just have to practice and prepare for that. And the last section, I've always liked this section here, the argument. And this is where English A separates from mathematics or physics or those, I don't want to say boring, but boring subjects. Mathematics, there's a fixed answer. And if you don't get an answer, you're wrong. But English, there is so much scope to which anybody can take a topic, right? And when you take that topic from the various angles or the various point of view, there's very, very little ways in which you can be wrong totally, right? So you would often find yourself being awarded marks, but for you to get up to a very good score, you have to get certain techniques under control. For example, your formatting and how you use the language. But almost always what you write will be accredited some degree of marks. In mathematics, that might not be so. Right? You're right, you're wrong. That's it. There's only those two probabilities. You might get a little 0.5 if you put an extra step, but there's only one way it goes, right or wrong, right? English, there's a variation. And there are more than one ways to killing the cat without putting a rope around its neck. Now, in the short story, in the argument, the CXC exam might give you a particular topic, and then you come out the exam, and your friend says he or she wrote on this, and you know you did not write on that, you wrote on something totally different. Both of you can still get a grade 1. It doesn't matter what aspect you did in comparison to your friend, and that's where you're just showing off this use of this language that you have been speaking all of your life. But what is this argument about? This persuasive technique is giving you a chance to show off your skills to persuade someone. So let's say we're walking on the road and we see a red woman. That might be a very sad story, but let's just play along. We see a red woman and we want to convince this red woman to give us her number, or you want to convince her to give you her number. You have to try to be very appealing. You have to try to be very persuasive to have this woman give you her number. And mind you, red women collect about 50 numbers a day on average, right? So you have to try to set yourself apart. Why should she give you her number, or why should she contact you after receiving your number? What sets you apart? The argument is just like that. The argument is you trying to convince someone of a particular view that you have, given a particular topic. Let's go a little more directly to the exam. Let's say the exam question is, parents should be allowed to choose spouses for their children. Parents should be able to choose the spouse of their child. Do you agree with that? All the millennials will say resoundingly no. I should choose my own man or my own woman. Isn't that so?
Yes.
Of
Yes,
course.
sir.
Yeah, you want to be the one to ruin your own life for yourself, right? Your parents can't ruin it for you. Right? But the idea is, the argument, is there a right or wrong side? Is CXC going to give you an extra 1 mark or an extra 2 mark for picking the side that they want you to pick? Yes or no?
No, sir. No, sir.
No.
No.
They are not going to do that. What CXC is going to do is see how you're able to successfully use language to present your point of view. This argument is not about abusing out your mother for picking somebody for you. This argument is not writing from an emotional perspective. The argument is writing from a fact-based perspective to show evidence in what you are talking about. Let's pick an argument. Let's pick a point, a random topic. Watching television is better than reading books. And let's say I just choose to say writing. So there's that topic. Watching television is better than reading books. For every argument, there's going to be 2 sides. The side that goes for the watching book, for the watching the television, or for the reading of the books. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
You can choose any of them. You can choose any side, all right? When you are writing, your writing must be a fact-based something. So let's say we can start a paragraph, most pertinently, comma, or to begin with, comma. Reading a book develops the cognitive abilities of a growing child. as the child reads, he or she is able to learn new words and build an extensive vocabulary. He or she is also able to spell. He or she is also able to learn new languages. Reading is better than writing. Reading is better than looking at the television. Would one right-thinking person possibly disagree? What have I done there? I've done a few things. One, I've presented the idea that reading is better, and I've given examples. That's what you want to do. In the argument, you give examples. What I've also done, there's another argumentative technique where I have also included a rhetorical question. The rhetorical question is giving the examiner a chance to relook at what you have presented. Is there a right or wrong way to do it? Not really. But the point is, the question is not seeking an answer. The question is just trying to let the person examine what you have said, relook at what you have said. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Let's take a break here. Look at our YouTube to see if anybody's making any comments there. Oh, I see my cousin Doris Hatton, a past student of mine, locked in there. I see there's a Timothy Ragbeer. Hannah wants to join. Hannah, I've sent the link there. You can click the link and join. There's no password attached to it. It's just a simple number. Once you type that in Zoom, you can join in there and have anybody can join in. That's fine. Right, good. So back to this argument. CXC will give you, it's not a limit. It's not a limit as to how much you write, but it's an average as to how many words you should have to have developed a point adequately. So roughly around 250 words is sufficient to have developed an argument properly. And there are various techniques that we can do, for this argumentative writing. Can we list a few? What are a few techniques we can use when we are writing an argument? Let's make it a little more practical. Your husband or your wife or your mother or father is supposed to do something for you. And you have to convince them to do this thing for you. What are some techniques you will use to convince them? Remember, the exam testing your ability to use English. And you have been using English all your life. You have tried to convince people every day of something. So there's nothing new to this. What are some of the techniques we use to try to convince people? Yeah?
Sir, you can use examples or scientific evidence.
Yeah, you can use examples or you can use some sort of reputable evidence. Good. What else we can use? All right, let me give you an example of what she just talked about. Remember the same example I talked to you there just now about with cognitive ability and reading. What I can do is throw in a doctor's name there to support the evidence I'm trying to present. So most pertinently, reading develops the cognitive abilities of an individual. Or I could say, firstly, according to Dr. Jamin Hatton, a psychologist attached to, give me a fancy house, John Hopkins Hospital, reading develops the cognitive abilities of a child in ways in which television cannot. What have I done there? I have added scientific, reputable evidence to support the point of view I am about to give. So I've given that evidence with a point, and now I'm going to explain further. Read and give examples to show that. Reading helps an individual to form new words. Reading helps an individual to craft their ability to think, reason, and write. Are you following me? Does this sound good? Sounds
Yes, sir.
logical? Good. Any question there? Shay, welcome.
Good night, sir.
Good. So that argument is your ability to do this convincing. But while I'm going to tell you, yes, you want to convince, there are a few things that you must get. And the thing that you must get is a format that starts with an introduction, a body, and end with a conclusion. As simple as that sounds, many students don't do it. So I'll repeat that. Your argument must have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. In the introduction, I know this is where my views might differ from what your teachers will tell you. Some teachers will tell you, oh, put your points in the introduction. No, not necessary. The purpose of the introduction is simply for you to understand that this is a topic that we are talking about, and you're letting the reader know what side of this topic this essay will focus on. That's all your introduction does. Try to make an interesting start to keep the person reading their interest there with you. But you don't go listing out, oh, paragraph 1 will talk about this, paragraph 2 will talk about that, paragraph 3 will talk about... No. An introduction just paves the way as to what will come. That is not necessary. The body should be about 3 paragraphs. Each paragraph will have a different point as to why you agree or why you disagree to the particular view that you hold. So let's say your view is smoking marijuana. Marijuana use should be illegal. And you say, no, marijuana use should not be illegal. Your 3 paragraphs of the body would have 3 different reasons as to why you support marijuana use. Parents should choose a spouse for their children. Your 3 paragraphs of the body will have reasons why you say they should choose a spouse or they should not choose a spouse. Each of those paragraphs can attempt to use different techniques in arguing. Am I making sense or am I wasting my time?
Making sense.
Kind of making sense. I don't want to kind of making sense. I want to make sense. All right, good. So, yes. And then finally, the conclusion. Now, the conclusion is this piece of writing that summarizes all that you have said above. So you repeat the topic. In closing, put in that phrase there. In closing, or to sum it all up, comma, watching television is better than reading books, and you put your reasons one after the other. Don't list them, but in sentence form. When you're done with summarizing the points that you have presented in the previous paragraphs, I tell my students to end with a rhetorical question. Something that leaves the reader thinking. Something like, after such an argument, can a logically thinking person possibly disagree? Can a right thinking person disagree? Something that guilt trips the person that read to agree with you. Huh? Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Question, comments, clarifications? No? All right, good. So as long as though we're paying attention. Right, good. So let's do a little fun exercise here. Just to see if we understand the introduction that I'm asking you to understand. The argument, let's just talk about this. The topic for the argument usually encompass one of two areas for the CXC exam, either the school or the family. And the reason for that is that CXC recognized that the child might not be very versed in what's happening around the world, but they're very much aware of what is happening in their family and what's happening in their school. So giving them a topic relating to that should give them a chance at this exam. So usually the topic that comes in the exam is either about the school, some aspect of the school, or some aspect of the family. For example, recently they had a question where they said children who vandalize furniture at school their parents should be put to pay. Hmm? Another one over the years would have been parents should be responsible when their children become criminals. Let's talk about that. Parents should be held accountable when their children become criminals. Write an argument agreeing or disagreeing with this. What I want you to do for me here tonight is do an introduction. Let's see your introduction. Make an interesting start. Tell us what aspect of this topic you will be writing on. Let's see that. I will give a cookie, a virtual cookie that is, to the person who gets the best introduction here tonight. So you have like 10 minutes to do that. 10 minutes writing introduction, that's a long time. 5 minutes. 5 minutes to write your introduction. Let's go. For the persons just joining us, what we are doing right now is writing an introduction to the topic you're seeing on screen there. Parents should be held accountable when their children become criminals. Just an introduction. You're not getting into your body. You're not getting into your points. You're just presenting an introduction. I want to see if you're able to make an interesting start and give an introduction to your topic. Remember the introduction. Just give a gist as to what the essay is about without actually listing the points that are to come or without actually jumping into the points themselves. The minute you start to give a point and explaining that point, that's your introduction. That's your essay. That is your body of the essay. And you will lose marks for organization. You will lose marks for organization. There's a lot of things that comes in the exam. That's it. Yeah, you lose mark for the organization. And the reason for that, introduction and conclusion is a very big part of your organization, right? So when the student doesn't have an introduction, doesn't have a conclusion, they lose some marks that should have been easy to get. Good. So giving you another 5 minutes and then we will start to hear some introductions. All right, let's go. Who wants to go first? Who wants to read for us what they have? And let me give some pointers for this introduction. Before we begin, all right, before we begin, I'm just going to remind you, the purpose of the introduction is not to jump into the body of writing, but is just to briefly say what the essay has to come, right? Just remember that. Essay, what the essay is bringing. What are you going to have in this essay later on? What point of view are you taking this topic from? Don't just jump into the essay. Make an interesting start. That's fine. Make an interesting start, but do not jump into explaining your points. Good. Who wants to go?
Me, sir. So you can hear me, right?
Read, please.
Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Read. Okay. Anybody else?
I want to try.
Go ahead.
Some parents posit the view that each parent should be held accountable when their children become criminals. Others disagree.
That is just the first sentence or so. That should not be the entire introduction. You have to go on to now say, this essay, however, seeks to show exactly why parents should not be blamed when their children take up a life of crime. So some people going to agree, some people are going to disagree, but you now have to show what the essay will focus on. So that bit is missing there in your bit. Okay? Somebody else?
Yes, sir, I would like to go. In today's modern living, there has been a rumor for a while whether or not parents should be held accountable when their children become criminals. And in this essay, I will show you as to why parents should be held accountable.
I don't agree with the word rumor, but I get the point you're making. All right, good. Anything else? Anybody else?
Sir, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. There has been much debate on whether or not parents should be held accountable when their children become criminals. While many have agreed with this argument, this essay aims to show why many have disagreed with this argument. This essay aims to show why I agree.
I agree. Good. Anybody else? Introductions? Let's have one of the newcomers. Let's have one of the newcomers in the class. I see people like Tatiana, Shay, Rihanna, Renee, Nayeli, Maya, Mia. Who wants to go? Somebody write an introduction for me quickly and read it. Miss Prowell, you want to go?
Hi, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
My introduction is some viewers are of the opinion that parents should be held accountable when their children become criminals. Others disagree. When both sides of the argument are fairly examined, it's easy to see that parents should not be slandered by their children's choices.
I love that. I love that. The only thing I disagree with is the use of that word viewer, right? Viewers. It's not not a television program, right?
Okay, sir.
Cool, but beautiful. Real smooth use of language. And if you notice how she, at the end there, twisted it a little bit. Parents should not be slandered, right? Good. That's an interesting way to start. The others also have interesting ways. Good. I am happy that you all understood the assignment of an introduction. Do we have anyone else that wish to go quickly?
Yeah, sir, you can hear me?
I heard you the first time too. Yes, go ahead.
If there's something there, you'll find it.
So you said go ahead as in read, or?
Yeah, yes, read, Nathan, read.
For years, there has been a big debate on whether or not parents should be held accountable when their children become criminals. This essay will show you why I strongly agree.
Good. Does the job. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yes, sir. There has been much debate recently on whether or not parents should be held accountable when their children become criminals. Many may disagree with this, while some may agree. This essay provides you with quality information as to why parents should not be held accountable when their children become criminals.
Become criminals.
Become criminals.
Right. It is the quality for me. It is the quality information. I hope your essay live up to that expectation, because you promised to provide quality information. All right, good. I'm happy with what I've heard. Is there anybody from the YouTube? No, I have about 20-something person viewing the YouTube channel, and only 5 person like the video. I will disconnect this if that like don't match the number of person viewing. You have 1 minute to correct yourselves. Good. Is there anybody else that want to read theirs?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Some critics have argued that
Can't hear you. Can't hear you. I don't think you went.
Some critics are of the view that parents should be held accountable when their children become criminals. However, I disagree with this notion.
I wasn't hearing you clearly, so it might not be a clear assessment to give your feedback. Can you correct me, Mike, and let's go again?
Some critics are of the view that parents should be held accountable when their children become criminals. However, I disagree with this notion.
Right. So it's just short, but it does the job. It's a fair introduction. You may want to add a little bit more to it. But it does the job. The job is critics might say that parents should be held accountable. However, the reality is that parents should not be held accountable or should not be blamed for when their children become criminals. And this essay will provide the reasons as to why. Right? Good. Lovely. I'm happy with that. So after our introduction now, what do we go on to do? What do we go on to do after the introduction? Who's paying attention? Let me hear what we said earlier.
We go into the body.
We go into the body. And in the body, what do we do there?
We develop our 3 points.
We go on to develop those points. Yep. We go on to develop those points to support the argument we are on, right? To support that argument that we are trying to make. So let's say parents should be held accountable. Parents are the first teachers of children. What the parents show their children, oftentimes their children mimic. What monkey see, monkey do, right? That's a little start to a first paragraph there. You then go on. You see that the problem with students is that they just give the point and they move on. One line and they move on. Second paragraph. Another line and then they move on. No. Timothy is saying the correct thing. Points and explain. You have to give the point 1 point at a time in a paragraph and go on to explain that point. As you explain that point, you are going to try to use persuasive techniques to do that. What are some of the persuasive techniques you might know? Example can be one. Rhetorical questions can be another one. You giving statistical information, numbers to back up your points. For example, research conducted by the University of Guyana in 2012 show that 1 in every 3 parents are directly involved with the negative teaching of their children, often leading to a life of crime. What am I doing there? I'm giving numbers to support my point. The point I'm making that parents are to be held accountable. Don't go and say 99%, 90%. Don't give your numbers so high. Make it a little more believable. Make it a little more realistic, right? Good. So give some stats, your numbers. What else can we use as a technique? There's something I teach my students, the counter argument. Is any of my students online here wish to tell the Caribbean what the counter argument is about? Don't embarrass me.
Sir, the counter argument is a very useful technique in argumentative essay. In this technique, the writer acknowledges a strong point on the other side, then skillfully shows why the point is not so strong, bringing in their own point to counter or oppose it.
Beautiful. Excellently said, Miss Ned. Lovely. Perfect. So the counter argument highlights the opposite side and then try to skillfully show one side that you have that opposes that view. Let me give you an example. To begin, some may argue that the parent is to be blamed when their children become criminals. But can a parent logically be responsible for the way in which a child's mind is crafted? Can a parent be blamed for the environment in which the child lives outside of the home? Can the parent be blamed? And you go on. The point is, you highlight the point. Parents should be blamed because they are the first teachers. However, the situations in which the child exists beyond the home is a vast environment that can change so much that the parent teaches. I'm giving you two counter arguments there, one on both sides. Let me think of another argument, another topic. Anybody tell me a topic quickly? Let me think of something else to cement this point. Any other argumentative essay topic?
Cell phone should be banned in school.
Cell phone should be banned in school. Good, lovely, thanks. So, some may argue that the use of cell phones in school can add to the productivity of a student. However, what percentage of children in school actually use their cell phone for the greater good? Question mark. Instead, many children in school are using their cell phones to communicate with people who they should not be communicating with, to chat while teachers administer lessons that are important to their passing of exams, and pay little attention to what is actually ongoing. The cell phone is actually a distraction. So what's the counter argument there? The other side was saying that cell phones can be used for communication in a good sense, where you can get information online and it adds to your knowledge. But the other side of the argument is that not many of the students use the cell phones to do that. They can become easily distracted. So that's a counter to the argument there. You get the point? Is that clear? Yeah. So Timothy says he likes that approach. It's a counter argument. The counter argument is where you try to weaken that opposite point. The very best examples are coming to my head at this point, but I hope you get the gist of it. Somebody was asking a question there just now? Soul, sir, something? No? All right, good. Give me another topic quickly. Let me give you another example. Hopefully the next one is better. Let's go. Who wants to give me another topic? Another random topic quickly.
Sir, hungry children cannot learn. Every secondary school student should be provided with free lunch every school day.
Oh, God. All right, good. That one is hard to actually disagree with it, but let's try to disagree with it. Good. The thing is this, and it's a very good point. Let's go. So some may argue that people should be given free food in school to help them learn. The argument is, the reality is, oftentimes when people are given things for free, they often do not value it. I can hear the silence. For example, textbooks. I'm just saying. I'm not talking about bringing in textbook in this argument. I'm just saying. Let's say the argument you have in the exam is school children should be given free textbooks to enhance their learning. The argument is the free textbook will add to their learning. However, how many students or what percentage of students actually use these textbooks? People who are often given things for free often do not make the best use of it. You get the point I'm making? Are we catching on this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Question, comments, clarifications? One more for the road.
Sir, corporal punishment should not be allowed, should not be tolerated in school.
Corporal punishment should not be tolerated in school. Well, let me tell you something. I was beaten. Your parents were beaten. You might have been beaten. And we all little all right. Little all right. Anyway, my opinion doesn't matter. Let's write this argument. Some may argue that corporal punishment has no place in the education system. However, corporal punishment instills a certain level of discipline in the growing child. You there with me?
Beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Let's flip that one now. Let's flip that one. Look at the other side now. Corporal punishment, some may argue, instill discipline. But can we show young children that discipline only comes from physical violence? Question. You see what I've done there? I've done the opposite to that. I'll go it over again. I hope I get it right. What I was saying is that some may argue that physical punishment, corporal punishment, instills discipline in a child. However, do we want to subconsciously teach our young people that discipline only comes from physical violence? Question mark. Make it sound so easy. Well, okay, good. You get the point. Are we getting the point? Am I making sense or am I wasting
Yes,
my time?
sir. Yes. Yes, sir.
Good,
Yes, sir.
good. All right, good. So the counter argument, just start. Look at what I've done. I'm giving you the same format all the time. Some may argue, stitch in what they're arguing, and then put a comma and stitch in what the other side of the argument is. It's as easy as that. Right? No. Camila is asking, do you write a counter argument for every point? No. You are going to decide what technique you want to use in your first paragraph, what technique you're going to use in your second paragraph. If you use numbers and reputable sources in your first paragraph, in my second paragraph, I might want to use a counter argument. In my third paragraph of the body, I might want to use rhetorical question and examples. You mix it up. Don't go doing counter argument. No, that will be annoying. Are we learning? Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. So we have ended up revising the argument completely tonight. When we're done with those 3 paragraphs now of the body, our final paragraph is the conclusion. In the conclusion, we are going to sum it up. In closing, I like to say in closing and not in conclusion. In closing, comma, parents should not be held accountable for their children when they become criminals. This is so since children have a mind of their own. The negative influence of the environment can also play a very big impact on the growing child. Finally, children mimic what they see in video games and on television. Parents cannot be responsible for this. And closing, my last sentence there, after such an argument, can a right-thinking person possibly disagree? Are we following? Sounds about good?
Yes.
Good. Lovely. Question, comments, clarifications? Any questions, comments, clarifications? Give some feedback now, please.
No, sir. I think this was very refreshing, and you've cleared everything up well from at my end here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else or any of our newcomers want to say something? Tanuja, Tatiana, Shay, Rihanna, Renee, Naeli, Maria.
Sir, this evening gave me a little more clarification.
Good. Lovely. Excellent. Good. What topic you want us to look at next? Let's go back to our list. So what you want to talk about the summary now or letter email? What do you want to talk
Yes,
about?
sir. Yes, sir. Summary.
Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll quickly. Let's see what the YouTube people want to hear. Summary or letter email? The counter argument can go anywhere, Tracy. Anywhere in the, I'm answering a question from the YouTube. The counter argument can go in any of those 3 paragraphs of the body. First one, second one, third. It doesn't matter particularly which one you want to put it in, right? Would you make videos on how to write an argument? You see, that's the thing, you guys, I don't think you guys have explored my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel actually has these videos already. In fact, let me go show you. My YouTube channel has videos from every aspect of the English A exam for your liking. All you have to do is go and check them out. I have a playlist for everything. Let me see what I have here. I just hate hearing how my voice sounds when I when I hear it. So I'm just trying to prevent that from happening. But let me show you. So if you go to my YouTube channel, I have English B playlist. I have CXC English A playlist. Let's click on that English A playlist. In that English A playlist, I have a very important video here on subject and verb agreement. Many persons, are you seeing the screen? Are you seeing the YouTube screen?
Yes, sir.
Good. So this subject and verb agreement video here answers all your problems with subject and verb agreement. Then there's a short video here on summary writing, 20 minutes. A video here on notice writing, how to write a notice, right? How to write a memo also was talked about in that video. How to write an argument. Look, it's right here. If you type in the topic and my name, you will find the details on it. And it's a video, 30 minutes long. You sit down and learn all that you want at your own pace. There's a video here also on how to write a short story. It teaches you the short story, then give you a sample of the short story in the next video. All of this is here. I even have a video here on how to do paragraph writing, because this is a very big issue with many students in the exam. Then I have another video here on some grammar tips and some multiple choice answering tips as well. Another video here on letter and email writing. Letter and email writing. There's a video here on statistical report writing, because this can be something that can be in the section B of the exam, right? And this here included here, the sleepover story, because these are ideas that you can use for short story questions. So if you look really, every aspect of the English A exam, I have YouTube videos on it. All right. So it all comes down to how well you're going to use the resources I have for you. All right. So please check them out. Check them out. All right. Okay, summary. Somebody wants to do summary but spell summary wrong. I hope you don't do that in the exam. Hope I finish it before May. I hope so too. I hope you finish before May as well. All right, let's go to the summary writing. So by popular demand, we are going to do the summary now. So what's the summary? The summary is giving you a text, let's say 4 paragraphs, page and a half of text, and for you to present that same information concisely and precisely as possible. When you hear the word concise, what comes to your mind? Concise. When something is concise, what does that mean? What concise means? Nobody?
Does it speak of clarity?
Short to cut, short or brief on something.
Yeah, make it brief. Cut it short. Good. And what precise means now? Precise.
Straight to the point.
To the point. Right? To the point. Accurate. Yeah. Good. So remember these 2 words when you're writing your summary. Be concise, be brief, and be as accurate as possible. The Caribbean students often have a difficulty with the summary writing because Caribbean people like talk. We don't know what it is to say one thing and just stop talking. We just say the thing and then say the same thing a different way with more theatrics. We gotta get the laughs and so on, right? So we end up saying the same thing over and over in several different ways. And if you do that in the exam, you'll fail. Why? Because when you are doing a summary excludes all of those things that we talked about just now in the argument. Whatever you do in the argument, you will not do in the summary. Let me show you what I mean. Let me pull up some notes for you and teach you on that quickly. What do we not do in this summary? And what do we do in this summary? Let's talk about that quickly. Good. Where is it? So the do's and the don'ts. Do's and don'ts. What do we do? Accurate and concise. We try to do it in our own words. What does that mean? In our own words mean that you have understood what you have read and you're able to translate that, right? You use 1 paragraph. This says use paragraphs, but when I say paragraph, I mean everybody's going to use a paragraph. Your summary is written in 1 paragraph, so you must actually show the indentation or indentation, depending if you're English or British. Use your indentation to show your paragraph and use linking words. Linking words, the examples say use continuous prose. Look here, look at the top here. Continuous prose. What continuous prose mean? Big word to just say 1 point links to the other point and you link to the other point. You're moving smoothly. Is that clear?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And then the don'ts. What don't we do? We don't use examples. We don't explain anything. We don't give opinion. We don't give quotations. We don't include questions. We don't use stats or numbers. We don't repeat anything. We don't use figures of speech. And for Christ's sake, the summary can be longer than the thing that people give you. Some children just write the thing longer than what they give. The people give them 1.5 page and their summary is 2 page long. The summary should not possibly be beyond 120 words. 124, 118, 115, that's all that's ball game. But the minute you're going on to 140, 150, it tells me that information that you have there has been repeated, right? So you want to make sure that the information you have is succinct, as brief as possible, and as accurate as possible. I do that a lot. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Good. Oh, you're from St. Vincent. Okay. All right. Good. So what exactly about this is hard? What exactly about this is hard? Let me show you something. Let's do this first paragraph of this summary here together. So let me tell you something. What Caribbean students do. And let me see who's going to be honest and tell me that they do this as well in the exam. Let's see who's going to be honest. I have any honest people in this class? Do I have any honest persons in this class?
Yes.
All right, good. Let me see. So some students will read and see that CXC has 1 paragraph, 2 paragraph, 3 paragraph, 4 paragraph, 5, and let's say 6. Because they see CXC have 6 paragraphs, when they write a summary, they summarize this paragraph. They have 1 paragraph after this, 1 paragraph after this, 1 paragraph after this, and they shorten all of these paragraphs in separate paragraphs and call it a summary. Who is guilty that they do that? Who is guilty?
The fact that I'm back in this class again, I'm guilty.
I like that one. I like that one. So yeah, people do that. You see, and that's where the teachers come into play, right? The teacher have to tell you that that's not how it's done, right? So the summary, not because they give you 6 paragraphs. Yeah, I'm saying it's wrong. They give you 6 paragraphs. You go and do your summary with 6 paragraphs because you're summarizing this, summarizing this, summarizing this separately. No. What they have given you here, this entire text, is talking about one topic. And then you will flow on that same topic from one thing about that topic to another thing about that topic. But all of it is connected. So when you are summarizing, you're writing 120 words in 1 paragraph. And between that paragraph, you're going to have linking words that move from one aspect of that topic to the next aspect of that topic, using words like additionally, as a result, consequently, however, etc. You think you follow me what I'm saying there, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Let's see what YouTube is saying here. Good. All right. Lovely. So let's read the first paragraph here, and we will teach you how to do this quickly. So CXC will give you several paragraphs. They can give you short paragraphs, or they can give you bulks of paragraphs that might seemingly be very long, right? It matters not. What you need to do is the same technique for all of it. You look at your paragraph for what we call a topic sentence. The topic sentence is that sentence where the entire paragraph is explained. Everything else in that paragraph came off of that topic sentence. So if you identify that topic sentence by itself, it therefore means you should have a good understanding as to what that whole paragraph is about. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
And then, if it's a lengthy paragraph, you may have an additional point or additional piece of information that can also be included later on. And I will show you how CXC has gotten easier over the years. Let's have somebody to read this paragraph here for us.
Sir, which paragraph?
First one.
Sir, the one with acids get better, right?
Yes.
As seeds get better, much of the world's soil is getting worse and people are going hungry. Scientists say if they can get the world out of the economically triggered global food crisis, better soil will be at the root of the solution. Soils around the world are deteriorating with about one-fifth of the world's cropland considered degraded in some manner. The poor quality has cut production by about one-sixth. Some scientists consider it a slow-motion disaster. In sub-Saharan Africa, nearly 1 million square miles of cropland have shown a consistent, significant decline, according to a March 2008 report.
Good. Thank you. So, firstly, what's our topic sentence here? What's the main sentence in that paragraph?
As seas get better, much of the world's soil is getting worse.
The first one. The first one. Oftentimes your topic sentence is the first one. It doesn't always will be the first one though, but oftentimes it is. So good. So it means everything else in that paragraph is coming off of that first sentence. So once we identify that first sentence there, we're on our way. It's your exam paper, you paid for it. Underline this, circle this. This is important. Is there anything else in this paragraph that we might want to keep in our summary? Is there anything else that might be important that is not highlighted in that first sentence? No? All right. Look at this here. In sub-Saharan Africa, nearly 1 million square miles of cropland have shown a consistent, significant decline. What is this? Is this important? Should we include this in our summary when we write back that summary? Should we go on to list Africa? Do we do that? No, we don't do that. That is what? What is that? That's an example of the point that was made above. So the point is the soil is getting bad around the world and people are going hungry. This is given an example of that. This is not included in your summary. Let's say this had 65% of people, or 1/6 of people, 25% of people, 100 million people. Do we put back those words in our summary?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, we don't. What we do is summarize the idea of the number. So if we see what 10% of the world is going hungry, or 5% of the world is going hungry, is that a significant percent? 5% versus 95%. It's a minimal amount, right? It's a minimal amount, right? The point I'm trying to show you, if you have, let's say, 80% or 95%, you summarize the idea of that 90% or that 80% with a single word like majority. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
If you have a percentage of 50%, an average amount, you summarize the idea without actually using back words like the percentage or the numbers. Would that make sense? So this entire paragraph here can be summarized to mean this over here. the world's food shortage, or you can even say the world is experiencing a terrible food shortage, and it can be helped by bettering our soil. Now, the CXC exam has gotten easier. What CXC now requires you to do is list the topic sentences, and they call it the main ideas. Identify 5 main ideas or 5 main points. And then you have to list those points one after the other. They write it down for you. 1, 2, 3, and you're listing it on line spaces. And they're giving you 5 marks separate if you have identified those 5 main ideas correctly. Why are they doing that for you? Who can tell me what the reason why CXC is doing that?
I think they're making it easy for you. So when you list those points, you stay on those points, you develop those points, and it's much smoother for you.
Exactly. Now, once you identify those main points, all you have to do now is connect the dots. Link the points that you have identified and make one smooth summary with one thing leading to the next, And not because you have it in this order mean you can't shift it. A point that you have in your last paragraph, you can boost it up to come at the front, right? It doesn't matter. All you have to do is make it flow. Making sense?
Yes, sir.
Good. All right, good. So, what are we seeing on YouTube? The decline part is left out. Yeah, of course. This is not exhaustive. There's still some points that can be included in this. This is a very summarized version of this paragraph. So yes, the point they're making here is that the soil is getting worse and the people are going hungry as a result of that. Anything else that you find that may be useful, you include it. The point I'm trying to make, however, don't include percentages, don't include numbers, don't include examples, don't include this date, the quotations, and so on. Those things are not included. The idea of what those things present, you can use the idea, but do not include those exact things as they have it there. Use own words, because the own words will suggest to the reader and the examiner that you understood the assignment. When you write back exactly the words that they have, that tells me you might not be sure. Making sense?
Yes, sir.
Good. So list your points down, and then your summary now is going to be connecting those 5 points that you have identified. Remember, long paragraphs will have your main point, yes, but it will also have other small sentences or other small phrases that are important as well. So don't be thinking that, oh, one paragraph has only 1 point. No. One paragraph may have 1 main point, and there may be some small detail that can also be included. Or it might have 2 separate points. So don't think that, oh, 1 paragraph, only 1 point. Because what you will end up having is that CXC might give you a 3-paragraph essay. 3 lengthy paragraphs. How do you get 5 points then? Those lengthy paragraphs might have more than 1 main point. Am I making sense, or am I wasting my time?
What? You're making sense, sir.
Good. Let each of us now talk about something that you have learned differently tonight. Anybody? I have included some linking words here to help you transition from one point to another. There's some linking words you can use in your summary, right? Remember, the whole point is for you to have a continuous writing. One point leading to the next point, leading to the next point. Continuous prose. Any question, comments, clarifications?
No, sir.
All right. I'm giving you a few minutes still to ask your questions or comments or make your comments. That's our summary for tonight.
I just want to ask one question regarding the summary. You said I just wanted to clear this up again. You said you're making your points. When you identify those points, you listed that. Is it okay for me to write those points as they are? Because we said to identify those main points. Write them as they are. That's my 5 points. And then when I go into to write in my summary, I will change up the word.
To your own word. Good. Yeah. It's a good question. My advice to students is to try to change it up before you write it in the listed part there. And the reason for that, if you put your own words from the inception, that your own words will be reflected in the summary. Right? If you so wish to write the exact words of the passage as you read it, and then go on to do it later on in the summary, that's fair too. But I don't trust students in exams. People panic in exams. And you might panic and write the words of the passage there and write back the exact words in your summary. Right? And you will be penalized there. Right? So my advice is to just write your own words from the inception. So then the summary then going to be easier to do. Make sense?
Yes. Okay, sir. Yes. Thank you. Well, thanks for clearing up.
Good. Any other questions or comments? Please ask them now. I hope the time we have spent with each other would have been useful. I did promise you to do some multiple choice with you. That's not going to happen tonight. It's already past my bedtime. But let's do this again. Let's see if we can do it again tomorrow night. Not going to promise you, but we will try to do it tomorrow night. Tomorrow we're going to work a paper 1. Who's going to be with me tomorrow night?
Me, sir.
Me, sir.
Me, sir.
It depends on the time too. I will, yeah.
Depends on the time. The time is going to hover around the same time tonight, around 7:38, if I don't have a date.
Understand?
Yeah. But you should get a notification. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not subscribers yet, to get the notification of when we're live, right? Once we're live, I'll give you a few minutes to share with your friends and so on, so you can get updates. But I'm gonna try to do it again tomorrow night. I have some work to complete though, so hopefully I can get that done tomorrow during the day and get the time to be with you in the night, right? Remember, it's an exam that tests your ability to write, reason, and think logically. You have been speaking English for all of your life. There's no reason why you should fail an English exam. Absolutely no reason. Because you have been doing this speaking and this writing for so long. So now it's just to practice what you've been doing all the time for a mark or for a grade, right? Remember, before you go, I just want to encourage you, when you're at when you're close to one of your biggest accomplishments, there will be unspoken, unseen, unspeakable trials and tribulation. Everything might seem against you. It seems as though this is difficult. You can't do this anymore. You want to give up. I am promising you not to do that. There is beauty at the end of your hard work when you put yourself and you sacrifice time and energy to get a certain accomplishment, to attain a certain goal. The Lord sees and the Lord rewards you accordingly. The God I know and the God I serve will never see you work hard and not reward you with passes and success. So keep doing what you're doing. Little by little adds up. I know you may be nervous when it comes to math or when it comes to chemistry or when it comes to accounts or when it comes to English, but little by little adds up. Just do something. Every passing minute now to the exam, you should spend doing some work, right? Little by little adds up. And he that begin good work, great work in you, is able to complete that and to see it to the end. All right. So believe in it. I am a living testimony of it. All right. It is all possible. And I want you to just believe. That belief go very far away. Right? But I was happy to be with you this evening. I hope I can continue to do this. I hope I don't get too tired. But yeah, let's see what else we can do in the coming weeks. Tonight we revise summary and the argument. Let's just recap quickly. The argument is where you get an opportunity to write based on a topic. The topic you're given is not the side that you have to take. You can take any side to that argument. You write an introduction and a conclusion and 3 paragraphs of the body. In the introduction, we just introduce what the essay is going to focus on. In the conclusion, we summarize the points we have presented. And in each paragraph of the body, you present a new point to support a particular side of the argument. In the summary, I told you to to do precisely and concisely what you have to do with this text that you're given. To be concise means to be brief, and precise means to be as accurate as you possibly can. Don't put opinion, don't put examples, don't put rhetorical questions, don't put stats. You can summarize the idea of all of those things, but you don't actually put that in your summary, right? And of course, you don't repeat anything in your summary. All right, good. Have a good night.
Good night, sir. Thank you.
Good night, sir. Thank you.
Good night, sir. Thank you.